welcome to the MudRoom, our weekly free and live uncommon sense parenting class. How is everyone today? How was the first week and a bit of school, daycare, preschool, homeschool, virtual school gone? I know some of you still aren't back to your routine. I know a couple boards here have pushed back the start date twice at this point, not ours luckily. So I hope that everybody's kind of muddling their way through September with some sense of direction. I'm actually pretty surprised. We've been doing okay with homeschool. The biggest problem is actually that my little one is jealous of my grade 1's reading program. He has no desire to read, and he's clearly not ready to read, but he wants to do the program anyways, and it's been interesting getting him to accept that he's just not ready for it yet. But other than that, so far, nobody's dead yet, which is good because we've already had our first case of school community spread in our area, so I'm feeling like we made the right decision in the end. I hope whatever decision that you've made, that you're feeling confident about it also. And if you're not, know that they're your kids and you can change your mind. That is the great thing about parenting. You're the boss. Tomorrow is always a new day. You can always change your mind. All right, before we get into today's topic, allow me to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. Hi, I'm Allana Robinson, and I'm a parenting coach for parents of toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartners. I help you understand why your children are misbehaving and how to fix it without yelling, shaming, or timeouts. I am your host here on the MudRoom. I also host the Parenting Posse Facebook group, which just this week surpassed 8,000 members. If you're not a member yet, you should really come and join us. We have a good time. And I'm the creator of the Parentability program, where I help you raise well-behaved kids of your own. If you're here, say hi, let me know how you're doing. I love talking with you guys rather than at you. And make sure that if you enjoy this video that you like it and subscribe to our live stream notifications so that you never miss a class. So today I want to talk about being a hero. Pushing. Doing more. This is an affliction that I find a lot of millennial parents, especially Americans, seem to be caught in. We've been raised with the messaging that we need to be better than everyone else. We need to learn things faster. We need to be the first to do something. We need to always be a hero and do more. But when it comes to little kids, young kids, this doesn't really work. Working on your child's self-regulation and executive skills all the time is not going to get you results faster. I talk about how in Parentability, we only work on our child's skills for 10 minutes a day. And everybody kind of rolls their eyes at me and goes, oh, come on, 10 minutes is nothing. I'm sure I can get results and improve their behavior in 10 minutes a day, but it's probably going to take me forever to see improvement, right? And in fact, I got an email recently that actually said, is the reason that you say to only work on skills for 10 minutes a day to keep people progressing slowly so that they stay members of your program and keep paying you? Ouch. Ouch. But it made me realize that I've never actually talked about why I only recommend working, and by working I mean playing, on your child's skills for 10 minutes a day. There are two very specific reasons. And no, neither of them is that I want my students to make snail's pace progress so that I can get more of their money. This also applies to schoolwork, okay? So if you're homeschooling or virtual schooling, these same concepts apply. It doesn't really matter what you're working on. If you're working with a child between 2 to 6 years old, even 8, 9, 10, this applies. So, reason number one that I say to only work on your child's skills for 10 minutes a day is because most of the changes that you make in Parentability aren't what I call active work. Most of the changes that my Parentability students make are more passive lifestyle changes. They're changes that we as the adults make, not that our kids make. We change how we respond to their behavior. We change how we set up our routines. We set up our days, how we change our expectations to make them more appropriate to our child's developmental abilities. There's a lot of strategic changes that parentability parents make that you just kind of do as needed. I don't consider that work that involves the kids, that involves them. It's just a change in how we approach them and how we run our household. When I say that building up your child's skills only takes 10 minutes a day, I mean active minutes, where you are both in it, you're both engaged, you're both working on it. You're not doing anything else. You're just focused on the game at hand. So yeah, you're not just doing 10 minutes a day and everything else stays exactly the same. You're only engaging them in active skill building for 10 minutes a day. The rest is more passive as the need arises. How you set up your family life so that it supports your children in behaving well. Think of it kind of like meal prep. When you get a recipe that says that this meal only takes 30 minutes to cook, you don't assume that that 30 minutes includes the time you need to make your grocery list, or to go check your pantry or your freezer to see what ingredients you already have, to go grocery shopping, and to clean up all the dishes afterwards, right? And often that 30 minutes doesn't even include the amount of time you need to spend prepping the foods, like cutting veggies and butchering meat and marinating and etc. You're aware that 30 minutes is the active time required to cook the meal. Same with skill building. This is actually, I'm experiencing this as well with my son. He's learning how to read and he's using a program that we only actively have to do for 15 minutes a day. But throughout the rest of the day, I'm pointing to words and saying, hey, can you read what this says? Today, when he was doing his French class, he was looking at the screen that comes up on Zoom when you're waiting for somebody to start a meeting, and he read all the words on the screen, right? That's more passive working on his reading. 10 minutes isn't the amount of time that you're going to spend throughout the day doing all the things that support good behavior. That's just life stuff. 10 minutes is the amount of time that you're spending actively focusing on skill building. Many of my students will remark after they've been in parentability for a while that everything in their life has changed as a result of the strategic changes that they've made from being a parentability member. But those aren't changes they're making daily and actively. Those are changes they've set up and continue to reap the benefits from into the future. So no, you're not just going to play a game for 10 minutes and change nothing else and boom, better behavior. But you only need 10 minutes a day set aside to actively work on skills, okay? Hey, Amy! Oh, you're having problems registering for the class? Okay, shoot me an email and at help@allanarobinson.com and we'll get you sorted out, okay? Sorry. Sometimes. Last week was the same thing. I'm a bit of a walking EMP, and last week, we didn't start the MudRoom until... Oh, awesome, you figured it out. Excellent. Yay, I love it when technology solves itself. That's kind of what happened last week with the MudRoom. I couldn't get on, and then boom, it let me on. And then the comments weren't showing. So, you know. Technology, it's supposed to make our lives easier, right? Okay, so reason number 2 is because skill building is exhausting. Think about it. You're playing games and doing activities with your child that are actively demanding that they use a skill that they suck at. Really suck at. Often, when we have new members in parentability, they'll come post in the group after about a month and say this isn't working, they can't do it, we've been trying different ways to work on this skill for the last month and every single time is a total fail because they end up crying and they don't want to do it. We can't get past 10 minutes of this activity. And every single time I'm like, whoa, back it up. You're only supposed to be working on this skill for 10 minutes tops. 10 minutes isn't the minimum, 10 minutes is the limit. And they're like, yeah, but I want them to get better at it faster, so we need to do more every day. No, wrong. If your child has a weak skill that skill is sucking too much energy out of their tank every time they use it. If a skill takes that much energy, okay, visual. If a skill takes this much energy and they only have this much gas in the tank, that means that they cannot use the skill. We want to build the skill up so that it requires less energy so that they can use it more frequently before they run out of fumes. You're playing a game with them that is likely asking them to use that skill 2 to 10 times in rather rapid succession. That means 10 minutes is likely the upper limit that they can sustain. That means that after 10 minutes, they're toast, they're exhausted, they need to go do a calming activity and refill their tank. They can't do it anymore, and they aren't learning anything anymore. Back when I was in early intervention, I originally only focused on these skills with my clients for about 10 minutes because that's all that I had the opportunity to do. They usually had like a whole list of goals that we had to achieve, and working on their skills was considered extra. So I had to kind of shoehorn it in where I could. But then on days that I did have more time in my schedule and I tried to work on them longer, generally the kids would just run out of steam after 10 minutes anyways. They were exhausted. And I very quickly realized that doing 30 minutes is useless because after that first 10, they've checked out. Skills aren't necessary for survival. That means that once we're out of energy, our brain reroutes the vestiges of our energy, our fumes, to survival, which is why they're whining and being irrational. Those are defense mechanisms. So I don't say only actively work on skills for 10 minutes a day because I want you to progress slowly so that you're like trapped in my membership web. I say only work on skills for 10 minutes a day because I want you to progress as fast as you can. I don't want you wasting your time fighting an uphill battle against an exhausted child. I don't want you wasting your time having to co-regulate because you've depleted your child to the point where they can't self-regulate. I'm trying to save you time while getting you the best results, not create extra work so that you feel like you're doing more. I'm not a fan of busy work. And none of us have time for that bullshit anyways. We're busy. Most of us struggle to fit in a 20-minute workout, let alone 10 minutes of skill building every day. So don't try to be a hero. This is an area where pushing yourself doesn't do any good. It's not like working out, right? Where, a 10-minute workout is great, but a 20-minute workout is better and a 30-minute workout is even better. It's not like that. So I hope that helps you see what I mean by 10 minutes of skill building and why that's how we market parentability. We know because everyone at Uncommon Sense Parenting is a work-at-home parent, except for Josh. But he's a daycare teacher, so it's not like he's brimming with extra time either. We know you're busy. We know that you don't have time for big, complicated behavioral systems. We know that you can't be spending hours every day working on these skills. And the good news is that your child doesn't need hours every day to improve. We also know that the biggest gains usually come from the smallest tweaks. I used to have a spreadsheet where I used to keep track of how many times a client would be stuck and that I'd suggest a tiny little tweak to what they're doing, and that itty-bitty tweak would just change everything. But I lost track. Hey buddy, what's up? He won't play Crash Test with you? Okay, can you find something else to do? Mommy's almost done her video. Do you want to come say hi? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. Here's Owen, everybody. Say hi. The camera's up there, but the screen's over there. So say hi. Hi. You want to stick with Mommy, or do you want to go back out? Stick with you. Stick with me? Okay. So I used to keep track of how many times a client would be stuck, and I'd suggest this tiny little tweak, and that itty-bitty tweak would just change everything for them. But I lost track because there was too many times. Parents are usually 80 to 90% of the way there already, but they need to optimize what they're doing. There's still a disconnect. by tweaking and troubleshooting and making small lifestyle changes to what's already working, we reduce your energy output as a parent. We make the energy you do need to spend parenting more efficient. Sound good? Makes sense? I know it sounds like I'm promising a lot when I say that practicing something through play, no less, for just 10 minutes a day can make that big of a difference in your child's behavior. But practice makes perfect is a cliche for a reason. The more you practice, the more you fail slightly less each time until you gain proficiency. And that's our goal, that our kids enter middle childhood with sharp, strong skills, because by the time they get to age 7, academics are already taking over their lives. They don't have the energy to devote to skill building like they did when they were little. Get your hand out of your nose. And that's why so much research is coming out now that it's a child's early proficiency in using their skills that's the better predictor of academic success than early proficiency in academics. In fact, a reverse correlation is emerging in early academics. So if you've got a child who is 2 to 6 years old and you're in a position of starting preschool at home this year, this is where your attention should be, not on academics. That is what makes the difference behaviorally and academically long term. Okay. What are you doing?
I'm doing a dab.
Okay. You're doing a dab?
Yeah.
You've been spending too much time with your older brother. Okay. So if you'd like more information on that, the first step is to watch my free workshop, How to Raise Well-Behaved Kids Without Yelling, Shaming, or Timeouts. The link is in the description. Or if you'd like to continue this conversation, come and find us in the Parenting Posse group, which is linked as well. Oh, wow. All these people are saying hi to you. Say, hi, Ariella. Are you shy? Hi, Ariella. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Amy. Hi, Helena. Joanna says, what a sweetie you are. Are you a sweetie? No? Are you mean? You're Yes, you look terrifying. It says, also, how did you get him to sit there and let you talk? I can't even finish a phone conversation without 100 mommy, 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 mommy. We need a MudRoom episode on interrupting because all my tactics have been useless. Owen is a freaking star. Are you a star? I honestly think he's a little nervous right now. I think he's shy. But how do we interrupt mommy? Usually you knock on the door, right? So usually my door is locked or shut, but I didn't apparently lock the door today, so he just let himself in. Your feet are covered in mud. Were you outside? Somebody said he's huge. Yes, he is getting huge. How old are you now?
4.
4. Owen is 4, so Owen is right in the middle of the limbic leap.
You mean Owie?
Owie, yes. Get your finger out of your nose. He doesn't like it when we use his full name. People can still see you when you're doing that. You realize, right? Just because you turn your head doesn't mean that they can't see you. The camera covers this whole corner. Alrighty. That's it for today. I'll see you next week for another Uncommon Sense parenting class. Bye.